a liver in a full khaki. Militancy, this a militancy. Geneva, Magdalena, special. So stand to attention and salute. At the army, you're looking up more recruits. The troops are right, him a go fight non-stop. Say one by one, the Babylonian a drop. When the war done and the jet them relax. Drink Ribena from out of the box. Drink Ribena from out of the box. Drink Ribena from out of the box. Drink Ribena, drink Ribena, drink Ribena from out of the box. Understand gold and the sky went black. That they flow from a lightning clap. Right here they couldn't take the attack. Put the Bible and a rat-tat-tat-tat. Militancy, this a militancy. Imagine Papa live in a full khaki. Militancy, this a militancy. Imagine Eva in Magdalena special. The troops are right, him a go fight non-stop. Say one by one, the Babylonian a drop. When the war done and the jet them relax. Drink Ribena from out of the box. Drink Ribena from out of the box. Drink Ribena from out of the box. Drink Ribena, drink Ribena, drink Ribena from out of the box. One by one,
is like it's going to be a cluster. I'm sorry in advance. I'm doing this off the rip, no script, nothing, and I'm just gonna talk to the mic. So if you don't like that, if you're here just you want to know, like, you know, what's going on with the channel, what's going to happen going forward, I'll throw up a timestamp on screen and you can just skip straight to that. But for the rest of you who are interested in hearing the story and where I've been, you know, mustache, where the video's been, you lazy piece of
What? It's just an ordinary... Oh my goodness!
I guess I should start off with where I came from in 2023, or where I was at. So basically at the start of the year, I got laid off from my job, and I'd been working at this place for like 2 or 3 years, and I was so burnt out. I was so miserable, in all honesty, and it was my first real job out of college. I know, let me play you a song on the world's smallest violin, head ass, but like, I just was not, I was over it. And getting laid off, I was like, let me do something that I want to do. I've always wanted to do this YouTube channel, not because I want it to be like a job, but my background is in like more creative work. It's in like video editing and photography and stuff like that. And so I wanted a creative outlet for me, like that I had complete, full creative control over. And I mean, here was the YouTube channel just sitting, and I was like, I have got to, like, I don't care. I'm not going to find another job immediately. I'm just going to grind this YouTube channel. I want to see if I can make a video every single week. And that was kind of what I did. There were obviously like some weeks I skipped, and towards the end of the year, I kind of got burnt out, but I really wanted to push myself and see if it was something that I could do every single week. And being unemployed, hell yeah, it was pretty easy. Towards the end of the year, basically, things really started to change in my personal life and kind of my living situation. So I was unemployed throughout most of 2023, and I was living with my mom still. And without going into a ton of detail, let's just say that like the living situation changed, and it changed pretty drastically, to the point where myself and my younger sister, I was like, okay, we've got to get out. Like, it kind of lit a flame underneath my skinny little white ass. Like, okay, I need to get out of this situation. And so at the start of 2024, like, I've got to go and find a job. I've got to go find something, even if it's just part-time, doing something so that I can build into hopefully a full-time job sometime that year. So 2024 starts, and I go and get a job working retail, which was so especially like after I had worked a serious job. And I'm debating whether or not I want to name where I went to work. Maybe I'll put it in the edit. I ended up going to work retail, and it was just part-time because that was quite literally all that I could get. And let me just say, it was such a weird experience having like worked for a true company that got bought out by like a massive Fortune 500 company, and then going to work at retail, having that on your resume. Like, they looked at me like I was a idiot, and it took me 2 times interviewing before I got the job at this retail store, which is insane. Like, it's so bad. But I started this job, you know, and started saving as much money as I possibly could. Call me stupid, I don't know, but like, this job was in another town that I had to drive to every day. I had to get on the interstate and drive to. So it was like a 45-minute, almost hour drive, depending on traffic. So that was like mid-January of 2024. Come like April, I had landed an interview at my current full-time job. So I was, you know, went through this interview. I was like, there's no way I'm going to get this. I am not their first pick. I'm maybe like their second pick, whatever. And went for it, and miraculously got hired. So this was late April, early May. Early May, I started this job full-time, right? And so you're thinking, okay, well, you know, was working part-time, quit that job to work full-time, and that's not what ended up happening. So I started working that full-time job, which I'm still at, as well as my retail part-time job. So I went from, in 2023, having no job to working like a contract job, a little bit here and there, maybe like 4 or 5 hours a month, if that, to working part-time and at the start of 2024, to working like 70 hours a week from May on. all the way to the end of 2024. So needless to say, like, I pretty much lost all free time that I had to make videos, or even just to game. Like, the flame under my ass was real, and like I had to work both jobs because there was no way in this day and age that I was gonna be able to save up enough money to move out, because I wanted to move out that summer. And I did. I mean, it was late in the summer. It was September. I got my own place that I'm renting from, and it ended up working out. But like, I didn't take any time off in 2024, like from those jobs. I moved all of my and I collect video games. I have like subtle flex. I have 1,000 video games and like 20 console. I sound like a dweeb, but like, it's just something I'm passionate about. And I have all this I hoard all this so I moved all of that. Like with my friends that you've seen in the videos, they helped me move, and I didn't take any time off to do that. Like, I worked. For anybody out there that's listening, that's still listening to me ramble about BS, if you are at a point where you've had to work 2 jobs or more than that, or you're currently having to work like 2 jobs, I am so sorry, because that blows. And I am talking like, I'm about to blow. Like, it sucks. It sucks, and I really empathize, especially having been there myself. But I quit that job, thankfully the part-time job at retail, or working retail, back in December. And you might be asking, okay, well, you quit that part-time job, like, why didn't you start doing videos after that? And I had all intentions to do that. It just didn't work out because my full-time job, without again going into a ton of detail, I got hired on to basically this organization to redo their whole website from scratch, and it was well over 100 pages that I had to redo, and I mean, it just consumed my life. Like, I quit that part-time job, my full-time job basically filled the void, and it's been like that for the past like 6 months, I would say. It's really been like up until I think the summertime, where things have kind of slowed down a little bit, and yet they're starting to pick back up again. And I'm so frustrated with that, because I'm like, dude, what about this YouTube channel? I want to get back to it. Okay, so that's basically like the story. At the start of this, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna throw up a time code. So for those of you guys who've like watched up to this point, I really appreciate it. But for those who have skipped, like those who are going to skip the time code, I'm going to like throw something up on screen, like some sort of edit to mess with them. So yeah, here that is.
I'm gonna play the game how it goes.
All those freaks that skipped ahead, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little edit there. Now that I've kind of gotten through the sob story of like where I've been, where's this channel going? What's the future of this channel look like? And quite honestly, I have thought about it a lot over the past year and a half. I've gone back and forth between, do I even want to do this anymore? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the effort? And I'm like, if I'm working full time now, is it even feasible for me to make videos anymore? Is it even feasible for me to upload like I was, at least in 2023, where I was uploading every single week? You know, I've thought about it. I've sat down, I've really thought about it, and I have to come clean. I have to be honest with you guys. I don't think I'm going to be making videos anymore. I just don't foresee myself being able to continue that weekly cadence. I don't think I can do it. It's going to be a lot to ask of me, and I don't think it's going to...
Music player on Ridge City FM.
Yeah, baby, we're back. I do want to cut back in here because massive caveat, like, I work full time and I'm doing stuff like outside of work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick to the weekly upload schedule with videos coming out like on Fridays right at 12. I'm going to try my ass off, but it might not happen. I am not giving up on this channel, and you will see more uploads from me. So stay tuned, I guess. And yeah, more's on the way soon.